I've lost more friends than I'd like to admit, and it took me some time to recognize the pattern that comes with grief. But once I noticed it, I realized many others feel the exact same way. When you understand what's coming, it becomes a little easier to endure. Losing someone you care about is like being thrown into a storm. It's not just any storm. It's an emotional one, and you have no control over it. Suddenly, you break down, tears come, memories, both painful and beautiful, rush back. As adults, we're used to managing our emotions, so this loss of control feels overwhelming. In those moments, the waves of grief hit you so hard that you can't think clearly, can't finish a sentence, and you feel completely powerless. But here's the truth. As time passes, that storm begins to fade. The waves don't disappear right away, but they lose their strength. Even months later, something small, a song, a familiar smell, a place you once shared with that person, can trigger another surge of emotion. You might cry unexpectedly, but just as quickly, the wave passes. With time, those moments become less frequent and less intense. And this is important. The fact that the waves come less often doesn't mean you love that person any less. It simply means your mind and heart are learning how to carry the loss. Grief starts with chaos, but slowly, it settles. The storm will pass. The emotions will soften. And it's okay to let them. It's important to remember your loved ones, but not to live in the past. Cherish the lessons they gave you, the joy they brought, and the moments you shared. But don't let grief consume your life. Constantly dwelling on the loss isn't healthy, and it's not what they would want for you. One of the biggest challenges people face during grief is guilt. You start to feel as if moving forward means you're betraying their memory, as though you didn't really care. But that's not true. One powerful method is writing them a letter. Pour out everything, what you loved about them, what you'll miss, the regrets you carry, and the gratitude you feel. Seal it in an envelope, bring it to their resting place, and leave it there. This act is deeply healing. I've delivered many eulogies over the years, and only later did I realize how therapeutic it was to write down my feelings. Putting emotions into words helps you process pain and begin to heal. And beyond grief, this lesson applies to life. People are drawn to hard challenges because deep down, we know that anything truly valuable requires effort. If success were easy, everyone would achieve it, and it wouldn't mean much. The difference lies in the struggle, in the resilience built during the process. I've experienced this personally. A few years ago, I ruptured my Achilles. It was painful, frustrating, and the recovery was grueling. Endless calf raises, constant discomfort, and the fear of re-injury always in the back of my mind. But in those moments, I reminded myself, this is why I'm here. Growth isn't found in comfort, it's found in the struggle. The discomfort, the effort, the pain, the sweat, all of it was part of the process. During COVID, I had no excuse. Half an hour every single morning, focused on recovery. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't fun. It was repetitive, painful, and lasted nearly a year. But that's the point. Most people give up because it's hard. That's why the re-rupture rate is so high, because sticking with it requires discipline. And that's when I reminded myself, this is why you're here. The struggle itself is the training ground for growth. Human beings, deep down, are drawn to difficult challenges. Lifting heavy things, whether physical, mental, or emotional, is good for us. We know it strengthens us, which is why we're attracted to it, even if it hurts. But life throws things at us we can't control. Illness, tragedy, loss. That's reality. What we can control is how we respond. That's the essence of extreme ownership. Too often, people dismiss responsibility with "that's not my fault," or "there's nothing I can do." But the truth is, more often than not, there is something you can do. And if you look honestly, sometimes it really is on you. I've often said the worst and best moments of my life both happened in combat. War took my friends. War was painful, heartbreaking, and filled with loss. But war also gave me perspective I could have gained no other way. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I also wouldn't trade it. It's similar to hearing survivors of cancer say, "I'd never want anyone else to go through it, but I'm glad it happened to me," because it gave them a deeper appreciation of life, of time, of fragility. Hardship, whether in war, illness, or even childhood struggles, shapes us. It changes how we see the world. That's why when I look back, I don't say, "I regret it." Instead, I say, "Good. I was tested. I was pushed, and I came out stronger." Over time, I've learned to handle myself better. I didn't always have a lot of friends, and that turned out to be a blessing. It taught me how to be comfortable on my own. For men growing older and becoming more aware of time, the advice is simple: take care of yourself. Lift weights, train jujitsu, go for runs, stretch, eat well, stop drinking. Because if you don't use your body, you'll lose it. Every day you skip the work, you're falling behind. At 23, maybe you could get away with it, but not anymore. Age makes the price heavier, and you have to stay ahead of it. While others waste hours on TV, scrolling on Instagram, or drifting through their weekends, I'm working. I'm reading, writing, preparing for podcasts, talking with clients, creating, designing, thinking about the next project. Someone asked me recently if I work harder now than I did in the SEAL teams. The answer, absolutely yes. Why? Because motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline is what matters. Discipline means doing the work regardless of how you feel. If you only act when you're motivated, you'll fail because you're leaving your future up to chance. But discipline gives you freedom. The freedom of getting things done. Think about it. You've got 2 small tasks due over the weekend. On Friday, you put them off. On Saturday, you put them off again. The whole weekend, they hang over your head like a weight. But if you just knocked them out on Friday, you would have enjoyed the rest of your weekend in peace. That's what discipline does. It frees you. Of course, any idea taken to the extreme can become destructive. Even extreme ownership has its limits. Yes, take responsibility, but don't go so far that you blame yourself for things beyond your control, like someone else's abuse or a loved one's illness. Balance matters. Responsibility is powerful, but it must be applied with wisdom. Life will test you. That's guaranteed. You can curl up, complain, and wait for things to change, or you can face those challenges head on. Complaining won't move you forward. Action will. Adjust, adapt, and keep going. That's how you truly live. Without challenges, you're not really living. You're just existing. Don't just exist. Live. Eventually, inaction will cost you. So make your default setting action. Stand up. Move toward the challenge. Attack it. Do something difficult. Because in the struggle, even if you don't win, you grow. Success or failure both make you stronger for the next battle. Life will always swing between highs and lows, good nights and bad nights, wins and losses, relationships that thrive and relationships that fall apart, money gained, money lost. That's life. If you let every single swing throw you around emotionally, you'll never find stability. Feel your emotions, acknowledge them, but don't let them control you. Pushing through hardship is painful. That's why most people quit. But if you decide, "I will move forward, I will not quit," you become unstoppable. Say to yourself, "Bring it on." And yes, emotions matter. Men, especially, are often told 2 conflicting things. Either suppress emotions completely or let them run wild. Neither extreme works. Hiding emotions isn't strength, it's denial. But letting emotions control your choices is just as destructive. Sadness, anger, grief, these are part of being human. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling them. What matters is what you do next. You don't excuse bad decisions because of pain. You don't let trauma dictate your life. Instead, you take control. Step back. Detach from the chaos. Detach from your ego. Detach from the emotions pulling you off track. Only then can you see clearly and choose the best path forward. That's leadership over others and over yourself. Balance is the hardest thing to achieve. It's easy to swing to extremes, total emotional shutdown or total emotional chaos. But both paths destroy you. True strength is balance. Balance in emotions, balance in business, balance in life. And when you find that balance, you stop living for yourself alone. You live for the team, for the mission, for the people who count on you. That's what matters most. Stay balanced. Stay disciplined. You're going to be okay.